I want to talk about something I wasn't planning on talking about today. And this title is going to be called This is What Love Looks Like. Let me say that again. This is what love looks like. And I'm actually recording on my YouTube right now, but I wanted to go live at the same time while I'm recording. One, because I think the message is important. And two, I just think that it's good to get this message out right away because this is a situation that just happened last night. I've never seen what I just experienced last night. Last night, I had a meeting, a Zoom meeting, with people that were new inside of my mentorship program. And there were people literally, this is not an exaggeration, from all around the world on this call. And it's not like it's the first time I've had this call, but it was a Sunday night, and I decided to have a special meeting just to meet all of the newer people who had just recently joined. And I've never seen anything like this before, but imagine people from all around the world coming together in different points of life. And then what we typically do is I allow people to come up on the screen. And I'm trying not to get emotional as I'm saying this, but I allow them to come up on the screen kind of next to me. And I always ask them the same 2 or 3 questions. How did you hear about my platform? What is it that brought you here? And what is it that you're hoping to learn through this entire mentorship, through this entire journey, as we call it? And you can see a little bit of the hesitation in the beginning because no one knows each other. And then somebody comes on screen, and then they begin to talk and share their life story. And you can almost see like the veil starts to uncover, and then other people begin to come forth and talk. And then more people begin to come forth. And then you have this person here from Barbados, and this person here from Australia, and this guy here from Alabama, and this lady here from New York, and this person here from, name a place, Chile, from wherever. And I've never seen anything like it before because what dawned on me in the middle of this, and I think this is why I'm kind of shaking right now, the amount of stories that were shared and the amount of love that was poured out, I said to myself, my God, this is what love looks like. I'm talking black, white, young, old, people from different walks of life. And it was just so beautiful to see it all in one place. And so I'm naming this is what love looks like. And the reason I want to name it that's what love looks like is because everybody bought a piece of, I want to say this the right way, a piece of my story that I thought was a crumb and that not was very useful. Everyone had an entry point. I remember one guy, he said, I don't want to say his name because I respect privacy, but he said, Z, you did a post years ago, a long time ago, called God Uses Messed Up People. And he said, you don't know what I was going through at that time. And he said, but when I heard you speaking, I don't know if I was live or whatever it was, but he said, but when I heard you talking about that, and I heard you going through all the different people in the Bible and how each of them had messed up, and I had talked about David and really all of them, the Apostle Paul, Abraham, you name it. Everybody did some messed up stuff at one point. He said, you don't understand what I was going through at that point in life, Z. And what you don't understand is that those words that you were speaking was letting me know, you mean trying to tell me even in all my mess, God's able to use me? And then there's someone else coming on the screen and saying, Z, here's what brought me in. I was on your TikTok or I was on the YouTube, and you don't understand. You did a post on what are you going to do with the time you have left? And you got to understand the position that I'm at in life now and what that meant to me. And I sat there, and they don't know this. Of course, I was kind of crying because we're only supposed to have the meeting for an hour. It ended up going for over 2 hours, which that's not a norm. But I didn't want to interrupt anyone, and I wanted everyone to get their stories. But I sat there and I thought, and I was just kind of shaking, and I just said, God, I don't know what it is that you're doing, but this has to be a picture of what love looks like. This has to be. Because love comes from the outpouring of ourselves to be able to help others. Love comes from us showing up authentically and even using our pain and everything that we've been through to turn around and be a gift to somebody else. And at the time, and I'm talking to my YouTube audience, and now I'm on live on this on camera right now with some other platforms. You all may not feel that what you have to offer is of high value. You may even feel like all I have to offer is crumbs, and Z, you got to understand, I'm just trying to get there myself. I'm just trying to get to a point myself in life where I feel like I can give to anybody, right? You may be tempted to feel that, because I certainly felt that in every one of those situations where they were given examples of how did they hear about the platform or why they joined the mentorship or whatever. I started tearing up more and more and more, because I remember where I was at in those moments. And I remember when I went live, or when I posted that post, and when I did this and I did that, and I didn't get a whole lot of immediate feedback from it, right? You ever feel like you just kind of put something out there, you're trying to help people, you're trying to give, you're trying to serve, right? But you don't see that immediate feedback. And I think what helped me more than anything, there were some people that had been following my podcast for years, and they said, Z, for years I've been following this. And you don't understand how many times in the middle of the night when you would get up and post something, how I needed to hear that just in that moment. And what they don't understand is, in that moment, I was going through what I was posting. I was dealing with I remember one lady, she said, it was like, I think 2 people who said, Z, you put a post up on guilt and grief. And she was talking about how guilty she felt from someone she loved dying, and how she had regrets and wishing she had done this and wishing she had done that. Well, I was feeling that in the moment. I was feeling that, oh my goodness, what if I would have done more so that my son could live? What if I would have asked more questions from the doctors? And so as I'm sitting there, looking at this pain, and then God is putting in my spirit, you need to go on camera and talk about this. And I'm like, this is nothing good to offer people. This is how can there be value in my brokenness? At least that's what I was feeling in the moment. And so, of course, I walked in obedience, and I did what God told me to do, right? We still got to walk in obedience. And then you don't see the fruit from it right away. You just do what he tells you to do, and you move on, right? And then last night, when we were all together on that call, tons of people from all around the world on that Zoom mentoring call, I just started shaking, because it dawned on me, oh my God, this is what love looks like. We all hold a valuable piece to this masterpiece, to this puzzle. Even in our brokenness and the little bit we feel we have to offer, there are other people that are able to benefit from that. That's what love looks like. Love doesn't always come wrapped in these pretty bows. Sometimes it actually comes wrapped in the suffering. That's why sometimes we all the time, I should say, we care so much about our family and things going on and this and that, because the love is there, we're attached also to the suffering and everything that comes with it. And I looked around, and I think what really touched my heart so much is, as people were sharing, other people were then able to share, and you can tell the reason why the call went so much longer. Oh my God, we were on the Zoom call forever. Is there were other people who started off, and I can tell they made the decision that they were not going to speak and come on camera. And then more and more people came, and what they began to say is, Z, I wasn't even planning on raising my hand, because when you're on a Zoom call, you can raise your hand, right? They said, I wasn't even planning on raising my hand and coming in the call. I was just listening to everybody's stories, these people from all over. And they said, but I now realize, oh my God, it's not just me going through this. We find and we see our stories in other people, you guys. And some people, you could tell some of them were nervous about talking. 1 or 2 of them was kind of shaking, and they're like, this is new for me. I really don't go on camera. And, but I feel so compelled to share my story and explain what brought me here and what I'm hoping to get, because I'm seeing so many other people with similar stories, and I thought it was just me. Now I understand more and more and more why Jesus always came and spoke a language of love. Now I understand why he said the greatest is love. Because love is a universal language. That's what unites us all, you guys. So I'm titling this is what love looks like. Love looks like us showing up, being our authentic selves, using our brokenness, even though we may not see much value in it, and turning around and allowing God to use that good for others. Love is also walking in humility. Allowing ourselves to be trained and taught along the way. That's love as well. I talked yesterday I said, someone had messaged me and said, hey, Z, the message you put up the day before, there was a message that you put in there, and that was a quote from a minister who's no longer with us. And you just want to make sure you give credit if you're going to do something like that. But I know your heart wasn't intentional in it. But I'm coming to you out of love, because I've been following you for a while. I love you, and you've helped me tremendously. But I just want you to be aware, many people have used these quotes from this minister, and we need to make sure that, when we speak, we give proper credit. She came to me in such love, and then I was able to respond in such love and say, oh my goodness, first of all, thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me enough to bring it to my attention. Thank you for loving me enough with trusting my true intention. Thank you for loving and showing me that. And I not only went in there and really, and she wasn't asking me to take down the post, but I took them down. I took down the last post or two because I thought, you know what? If I should post it back again, I'll make sure that proper credit is given if someone's quote or something's being used. That's an act of love. It's an act of love of, hey, brother, hey, sister, I love you. I know your heart may not have been meaning to do this, but here's something I see that you may want to be aware of. You guys, that's love. We have to be here for each other. And then we have to respond in humility and say, my God, thank you. Thank you for showing me something that I was not aware of. Or thank you for correcting me in the spirit. Thank you for teaching me this. That's love. Love is also coming together as a community. You guys, this world is so broken in so many ways. It's so broken in so many ways. This is why I don't spend a lot of time on social media, by the way. I can't spend too much time on it because I see we're meant to come here as a community and love and support each other. And then I see us arguing about so many things on social media, having conversations and arguing about things that have nothing to do with our destiny whatsoever, right? Nothing to do with it. We're supposed to be using these platforms to spread the love. We're supposed to be using these platforms to talk about God and the goodness and what he's done. Yes, we can express what we're feeling and what we're going through, but these platforms are not supposed to be used to rip each other apart. Which, by the way, that's one of the community guidelines I have in my mentorship group, and I told them that last night. If you don't have anything good to say, then don't say it. This is a place where we come together to build each other up, to encourage one another. Again, I titled this is what love looks like. And in my humble opinion, Jesus set the ultimate example of what love looks like. We walk in our purpose. I talked about that before. I mentioned to you guys the world is waiting on you. The world is waiting on you to show up and to use your gifts and talents and to do what God puts you here to do. Let me say that again. We right now, as I speak, we are waiting on you to show up and to be authentic and to use the gifts and the talents that God has given you because we need what you have to offer. We need it. We need what you have to offer. And so every single day that you sit back and you're doubting and you're fearful of moving forth, and you're afraid of putting those crumbs out there, as I'll call it, right? Because you're not sure if it's going to be accepted or if it's going to do any good. It's almost as if we're extracting love from the world. Because every last one of us, our gifts and talents, there's love attached to it. There's love attached to that seed that's inside of us. And the reason I can say that part so confidently is because last night, when I had that Zoom call welcoming all the new members inside of my mentorship, I think what moved me more than anything is it hit me so hard that, my God, what happens if I didn't show up? If I didn't allow God to use the pain and all of the experiences that I've been through to be able to pour into other people? Would some of these people be on this call right now? And they were referring to posts and messages and things I put up years ago that I totally forgot about. And they said, Z, you don't understand. You don't understand how and some people said, I'm not close to my family. I don't get with a lot of people. I'm kind of a loner. But you don't understand how just the right time, many times it was in the middle of the night, I would go to a post or go to something that you're stating. And right in the middle of that, you're giving me the very message that I was looking for. Now, of course, I don't know this, and you won't know this. You may be putting your stuff out there to help other people. Maybe it's a book you wrote, or maybe you tried to put up a post or something. Maybe you tried to get with some people and you don't see the good that it's doing right now. The seeds don't always show the fruit right away, baby. It doesn't always show right away. Sometimes those seeds grow over time and then you begin to see it later. And I'm so grateful to God to have shown me last night that all of the work, all of the suffering, all of the sacrifices, all of the times where I'm like, God, I don't even know if this is helping anybody. I'm a broken vessel myself. What on earth do I have to offer other than my pain and what I'm going through? I'm still fighting to have a relationship with you myself. And God is like, so talk about that. And I'm like, God, but I don't even like social media. I don't like doing stuff like that. Then say that. But God, I'm fighting to have a relationship with you. I don't even feel your presence all the time. And God just kept putting in my heart, do a post and share about that. God, I feel guilt. I feel grief about some things. Do a post and share about that. God, I feel anointed, but I also feel frustrated. Do a post about that. God, I don't know what I'm going to do with the time I have left. What do you want me to do? Do a post about that. And in every single situation, and now I'm beginning to see it, it was at the right time for someone else. This is what love looks like, you guys. Love looks like showing up. Let me tell you another picture of love. And I know some people may disagree with this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Love doesn't look like just attracting one particular group of people. Love is a universal language. When we were on that Zoom call last night, there were people that were young, and you have to be 18 or older to be in my mentorship, by the way. But so when I say young, I mean 18 or older. There were people that were young, people in their 50s, 60s, 70s on the call. You know, there are people that blonde hair, blue eyes, look nothing like me. There are people with afros that look like me. You know, there are men, women, you know, different nationalities, some countries and places I've never even heard of. That's what love looks like. Love itself is unification. And by the way, that's not watering down the word of God. But when you walk in love, it attracts something to you. When you walk in it, it attracts something to you. I pray this is helping you all. I think about the passage where, you know, the Bible teaches us that we are to give. And when we give, he said, the Bible teaches us how it's going to be returned to us. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I want to challenge you all with this before I close this out. This is not going to be a live episode. I want to challenge you with this. I want to challenge you to show up and be authentic. I want to challenge you to realize that you have value that the world is waiting on. And even if you feel that it's not of much use right now, or you don't see how it's really going to help too many people, right? Whatever that gift or that talent is, I want to challenge you, starting today, make the decision that I'm going to show up and I'm going to do my part. I don't even have the answers. I can't solve everybody's problems. I don't even know if this product or service or whatever talent God's given me, I don't even know how big this seed is going to grow, how many fruit are going to be developed from it, but I'm going to show up and do my part. You guys, the world is waiting on you. The world's waiting on you to show up. And I want to say this again, when you walk in love, it's not always going to be pretty. I wish it was. Sometimes you're going to walk in love, and there will be people out there who are on an assignment to try to derail you. There will be people out there that try to tell you that there's no value in what you're offering. You guys think it doesn't happen to me? You don't see some of the messages that I get. You don't see some of the attempts that are made to try to shut down things that I do when I know I'm doing my best to walk in love and to help people. You don't see me at night in my closet praying for every last one of you. I tell God every night. I even said this morning. I say, God, I love your people so much. I love them so much.
I said, but God, but I'm a broken vessel. You have to work through me, and your spirit has to work through me just so that I can give and be able to encourage your babies, be able to encourage your babies. But I say that all the time. I say, God, I love them so much. One of the things that the majority of the people said last night on that Zoom call, because I always ask them what is the area that they're looking to grow in. At least 50 to 75% of everybody answers the question almost the same way. It just breaks my heart whenever I hear it. But they say, Z, I'm looking to learn, who am I? Why am I here? And what is it that God wants me to do? And I'm talking people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, still trying to figure out, who am I? And I think the reason why it breaks my heart whenever I hear that is because, I have my Bible sitting over here. I was going to open it up and read something. I think the reason why it breaks my heart so much is because God desires for us to know who we are in him. He really does. He desires for us to know our set purpose and why we're here. And I think what breaks my heart in it is that we just don't know. We don't. I really do believe the vast majority of people really do want to walk in love and love everyone and treat everyone well. But I think that we just don't know who we really are. We don't know what is it we want to do in life. We don't know so what is my set purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? I saw a lot of people last night when we were in that mentoring call who were just scattered and in 50 places at one time. And the beautiful part about it is that I'm able to see myself in their story. That's how I'm able to identify with it, right? And I won't go into the details because it turned out to be a phenomenal workshop session. I shouldn't call it a workshop session because it was really a call to meet everybody. But the point I'm getting at, 50 to 70% of everybody was saying, Z, I'm mainly here to figure out who I am. What is my calling? Some of them said, I have so many talents and I'm going in different directions. Like, I don't even know which direction to go in. Does that make sense? And I won't go into detail with that, but I have a whole process in place where I walk them through a whole 12-week necessary retreat. First 3 weeks in that alone is just figuring out who the heck you are, what are your God-given gifts and talents, learning how to capture in the spirit first before you get things in the physical. So there's a number of things to that. But the point I'm getting at, this falls all under the umbrella of love. That's why we're all here to use our gifts and talents to help each other. We are all here to do our part. I don't have the answers to all of your problems and issues, you guys. I'm not that smart. I'm not. The only thing I've known to do is to show up with the pain and suffering and the experiences and some of the victories, I should say, that God's given me, and do my very best to pour out into other people because I truly love people. And I even said to God, I said, God, you made me like this, so if you want to change it, that you'll have to change it. You made me to love people. I naturally just love people and I want the best for them. I don't care what your race is. I don't care what part of the country you live in. And I think that was so beautiful with so many people coming together on this call we had last night. And then when the call was over, because people are able to go into the community, there, when you log into the mentorship, there's a 12-week retreat. There's a lot of training and resources. And then we have a whole community section where we all communicate with each other. And I loved the messages. So many people were putting messages in there. And they were just saying, Z, not only is this the most beautiful community, I've never seen anything like this, but I love that so many people were sharing their stories and I was able to relate because I really thought it was just me. I love that we are able to learn from each other and encourage each other in this. And the whole time I'm sitting back and I'm looking like, my God, this is what love looks like. I thought I had nothing to offer. I get arrows shot at me all the time from people telling me that you have nothing to offer. Not a whole lot, but I get that from people. You're not a licensed minister. You can't be talking about the gospel and this and that, right? Right? But that love comes wrapped in that, in that, that it comes wrapped in the suffering. And if we're able to come together and love each other, you guys, can you imagine? I'm going to close out with saying this. Can you imagine what the world would be like if we all came together and loved each other? If we gave each other the benefit of the doubt and instead of judging each other and speaking harshly to each other and pulling each other down, can you imagine what the world could be like if we really actually loved each other and really cared? Can you imagine what it would be like? If instead of being jealous or envious of each other, we were there to support and love each other. When one of us make a mistake or do something wrong or something's not quite right, just like the amazing lady came to me the other day and said, hey, Z, you may not be aware of this, but da-da-da-da-da. If we can approach each other in love and then respond to each other in love, if we can look at our circumstances and our situations and instead of saying, I don't need to give anymore, I have nothing to give, right? But we still turn around and give the broken pieces because our crumbs are like a whole cake to some people. Let me say that one more time. What I thought was a crumb, I found out last night was like a cake to some other people. I'm showing up just giving the little bit I got and talking about the little bit of revelation God gives me. And for somebody else, it changed their entire life. And they're like, you don't even understand, Z, just in that one post you did, that taught me God can use me, this messed up person who's made so many mistakes my whole life. I learned in that one post and it changed my life. And I'm referring to one person that made that comment last night in the mentorship call. He said, that's how I'm a part of this program now. My eyes have been open to God can use even me with all my messed up, all the things I've done. Anyway, I'm going to close out the YouTube right now. I pray this helped you all. I'll stay on the live for just another minute, but I love you all. I'm begging you, show up and be authentic. Show up and walk in love, you guys. Even your broken pieces are of tremendous value to other people. The world is waiting on you right now to just show up, to use that seed God's given you and all the pain and suffering that comes with growing and developing, because you guys know a seed got to be buried deep in the ground. It's got to go in some dark places first before it begins to sprout and begin to bear fruit. But the world is waiting on you to show up because we need what you have to offer. We need you. We're waiting on you. We need your love. I love you all. You're listening to Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast.